Oh, oh man. Hello and welcome to another Win Daily Show. This is our live stream. We have the July 25th main slate ahead of us. I got my man Ghost here with me. Ghost, how you doing today, brother?
I'm doing well, Michael. Yourself?
It's a great day to be alive. You know how it is. You know how it is. We're getting ready to jump into it. We're getting ready to make some money. Everybody make sure to go check out windailysports.com/23. Everything on the site for only 23 cents for the first month. That's all the articles, all the projections, the expert chat where Ghost and I get to hang out and talk to Brian and talk to Jason and talk to Rocker and all the other incredible people. Jim Thompson, obviously. I'm sure I'm forgetting a few people. It's not because I don't love you, just because we have so many goddamn great people on our team. There's so many to announce. So let's just jump into it. Let's dive right into the slate. We're going to be talking a little bit about some of the pitchers that we like, some of the stacks that we like. This is going to be nice and quick. You can make your lineups, hop in the Discord just to fine tune things, and then we're off and ready. And then last thing before we jump into it, we are our capper Steve, gentlemen, our handicapper, our incredible handicapper, who was already up 5 units after the first night on only about 5 picks. He has more picks, and after this, they will be out. I will be making sure to get that article out. So I know I'm going to be making more money tonight. Ghostman, I hope you're going to be making more money tonight. I hope all the people
Absolutely.
watching are going to be making money with us. So let's just dive right into it. Who are we looking at in terms of pitchers today? I know we're going to be picking on certain teams. Not everybody's on this main slate. It's 11 games. I know there's a bunch of later games as well. So who are some of these this first main slate of pitchers who you're looking at?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, guys like Hugh Darvish and Zach Wheeler are a little bit more volatile on a slate like this, especially with their first starts of the season. And I feel like paying up is going to be a little bit more contrarian than the rest of the field right now. I'm going to be looking more at that 9K and lower range just because I'd rather prioritize the bigger bats on a slate like this. So my first guy that I'd love to lock in is Lance McCullers Jr.
Nice.
He's a guy that hasn't played in I believe it's 2 years now since coming off Tommy John surgery, and they were really precautious with him. When he's on, the guy just looks absolutely unhittable. So taking advantage of a Seattle lineup that's virtually non-existent is something that I'm going to be taking advantage of today. Showmaker is another guy that, again, going up against the Tampa Rays, I'm definitely going to be targeting him in that range. Alex Wood has a good matchup in some I don't even know if we could call it spring training right now, but in some exhibition games, as some teams are calling it, Alex Wood did look like his old self. So I'll probably have a couple shares there. And then my punt pitcher today is Caleb Smith of the Miami Marlins.
Miami Marlins. I do love that. One really interesting stat about McCullers, he's incredible against left-handed hitting. And I think I saw Brian at Tulloch Sports put in the Discord that he is facing 6 left-handers today. And I think he strikes them
Absolutely.
out at a rate of like 30%. So
Yep.
let's get it. Let's get going. I do love it. Hopping over to catcher. Obviously a very volatile position. Paying up and you get screwed and it kind of just ruins the rest of your lineup. Who are you looking at here to lock in a couple different catchers?
I mean, we have some interesting options here. Nobody really jumps off the page, but right at the top, my go-to target for most of my lineups is going to be Will Smith, barring that he's not in the lineup. But even then, I'll probably pivot to Austin Barnes in that case, who's I believe it's $1,200 cheaper there. So
Yeah.
I'm probably locking in that Dodgers catcher. If Maldonado gets to start again for Houston, he's definitely viable as well. But there's nobody really else that kind of jumps off the page to me here. It's more about mixing, matching your lineups depending on which team you're stacking.
Yeah, and I think I did a nice Houston LA stack last night that won me a couple bucks, which was pretty nice. Maldonado was fantastic. Muncy hit me a couple dingers, which was sweet. So not too
Absolutely.
angry about that. And just we're getting some questions. Most of this is so thank you for the question, Hut Player 67. We're not going to specifically be going over FanDuel, but these are just general plays that we're looking at. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit different for each site, but just make sure you go in. Again, hop in the Discord. It's free for 3 days, or it's 23 cents for the entire first month. So hop in there. We can really fine tune some things. We're just trying to give a nice little overview about an hour before slates do begin. So hopping over to first base. Are you going to be paying up in this position, or are you going to be paying down? I guess who are some of the stacks actually that we're going to be paying attention to a little bit today?
I mean, the stocks overall today, it's they get a little bit different on DraftKings just because they split their slates up. But overall, I really like the Dodgers and Houston again today. Boston is still priced down against Alex Cobb, and that's definitely something that I want to take advantage of. And my lower owned / contrarian stacks I'm going to be using today are the Cincinnati Reds and the Chicago White Sox.
Love it.
So Edwin is a former Blue Jay, of course.
Hmm.
Me being in Canada, I'm a huge Encarnacion fan, but he's a little pricey for my liking right now, especially with some elite targets that we have at the outfield position that we're going to get into after. I
Hmm.
mean, even though I'm not necessarily stacking the Mets today. A guy like Pete Alonso can always go off for multiple home runs in a single game. We saw what he did last season.
Hmm.
Freddie Freeman does have that lefty on lefty split, but again, a little mini stack with his fellow All Star teammates Ozzy Albies and of course Ronald Acuna Jr. You can never go wrong with Freddie Freeman there. And but the premier target that I'm looking at here is Mitch Morland. I mean, he was not in the lineup yesterday, but batting cleanup for that Red Sox team. He's got a good favorable split, and I believe he has only a 10% soft contact rate from what I was seeing.
Hmm.
So 90% of his hits are in play, and it's definitely possible that he racks up some RBIs in that cleanup spot right after Devers.
Yes, let's unfortunately Alex Cobb was good like 6 years ago. So let's pick on that Baltimore pitching staff as much as we can and make some money along the way with it. Hopping over to second base. We've had Max Muncy in our lineups the last few nights and he's been great. So I mean, obviously if you're making a Dodger stack, I highly suggest you stick him in there again. But who else are you looking at here in the second base position?
Yeah, you bring up a great point. Why not keep riding the hot streak, right? We're playing on a shortened season. You can never go wrong with if guys are playing well. If even if they're not the sexiest of names, hey, they're playing well. They're playing well. You know what I mean? So it does wonders for our DFS lineups and our season long leagues. So be active on those waiver wires and making sure that you're making the edits in your DFS lineup. So Max Muncy is definitely a guy that I'm targeting yet again. He may carry some heavier ownership, so don't be afraid to fade in necessarily like that $3 three max tournament in over on DraftKings. That could possibly be a fade spot, but again, in your single entries, why not? A guy like Jose Altuve, again, premier matchup against Seattle today. You could go all the way up to Jose Altuve. If we get to scrolling down here, we'll look over a little bit more options. Nobody in this 3.5 to 4K range really sticks out to me, but I believe Jose Peraza is second base and
Mm,
shortstop available. He's second base
I'm
and
going
shortstop
down. There he
eligible.
is,
There
2,900.
he is. So he doesn't have that favorable split necessarily, but again, after what he proved yesterday, he's definitely a guy that could get on base, and he'll most likely carry a ton of ownership over at second base and shortstop, depending on where people are chiming in your lineups. But I'm all over the Red Sox again today, so
Yeah, looks like
I'll
he's
definitely have
hitting
my Peraza shares.
Looks like he's hitting 5th today too, which is
Yeah,
kind of weird. I think he hit 7th or 9th last night. So he was down at the bottom of the lineup, still was able
yeah.
to produce significantly. Now he has the potential to grab maybe another at bat, which is always nice. So that's fantastic. Is there a late swap on DK? I don't think so. I am not aware of a late swap on DK. Ghost, do you know if there is?
I from my initial my initial answer wants to say yes,
Oh, okay.
but let me double check.
Yeah, let's double check on that one. Just got a question. Thank you for the questions. We do appreciate it. Again, just trying to go over a little overview here today, just trying to make sure that everybody has an understanding of what's going on, why we're doing it. And, we're about 45 minutes from lock, so make sure everybody gets those lineups in. All right. Do you have an answer for us, Ghost Man?
There's no confirmed answer, but my initial answer is going to say yes, simply
Okay.
because of the way that they split up the slates.
Okay, cool.
Um, I don't quote me on it in case for whoever asked the question. Thank you for the question, but my initial answer is yes.
Love it. Good stuff, man. All right, let's hop over to third base. Again, we have Devers all the way up top, 5,600. Again, if we're going to be probably, I'm making a couple Boston stacks, especially what they did last night was fantastic. But who else are you looking at here in this third base position?
I know Sticks is gonna like this answer while he's on vacation, but
Hmm.
Juan Moncada is definitely a guy that I'm looking at today. I love me a nice Chicago White Sox 3-man stack over on DK at low ownership. So he's definitely a guy. He'll be able to give you a little bit of savings, $900 to be exact, over Devers. So don't be afraid to mix and match your third baseman there. I'm probably paying all the way up, but again, a guy like Justin Turner in arguably the most potent offense in all of baseball right now is always viable. But I'm sticking towards that higher price range on third base today.
Love it, love it, love it. And then so we already spoke about Jose Peraza
Yeah.
for shortstop. So the opportunity to jam him in there, depending on where you go at second base, if you're trying to fit Max Muncy in and also trying to fit another first baseman in as well. But where are you looking at this shortstop position for the slate?
Bregman and Korea are both in good spots again today, but again with the whole drama surrounding their clubhouse
Hmm.
over in the off season and whatnot, it's definitely volatile for them
Hmm.
on a DFS slate. Are they just gonna get clunked every single time they go to the to bat? We don't know, but I'm liking the Houston offense again today. So Bregman's a good pay up option. If we scroll down here, we'll be able to take a look at some value plays. Paul DeYoung, I know over on FanDuel for the person that was asking about FanDuel is only 2,800. I have a ton of him over there, even as a one-off. He was one of my favorite DFS season-long picks
Hmm.
for late value round ADP, and he proved it yesterday with an opening day dinger. So why not go back to Paul DeYoung? He is a little bit priced up over on DK, but he's somebody that I'm going to be looking at as well.
Love it. And then, as you said, outfield is always the premier position. That's where we have people like Yelich, Trout, Springer, Acuna Jr., Bellinger, Betts. I mean, it's pretty difficult to fit all these guys in, obviously. But, obviously, if we're going with the Dodgers stack, try and get as much Bellinger and Betts in. Neither has done anything so far, really, for the first two games. So they're going to have to come out of that soon. I assume we're not making too many Angels stacks because, you know, Anthony Rendon's not back. Who the hell else are we going to do that with? As you said, a little mini stack with the Braves. We could throw in some Acuna as well. So, anybody else here that you're looking at that you're really liking from a DFS perspective?
It's a known thing in MLB DFS that Mike Trout homers on Saturdays. So
Okay.
I will have a ton of Mike Trout going up against the lefty Sean Manaea. I do have him in my dynasty league, so
Also
I'm
doesn't
I'm
hurt.
hoping that Trout necessarily doesn't homer. But hey, if it costs me a few points in my dynasty league to get a Mike Trout homer for all of our DFS players, why not? I'm definitely going to be all over Mike Trout. He homers almost every Saturday.
He is
If we scroll down, we'll be able to take a look at some value. It's
JD
not
Martinez.
necessarily value per slate, but JD Martinez, $1,000 cheaper than some of these premier outfielders like Yelich, like Trout. I mean, batting in the heart of that lineup right before Devers, you could definitely go back to him. Eloy Jimenez is a guy that, given his price, I don't expect to be too popular. But again, those mini White Sox stacks with Juan Moncada, I'm definitely going to have some shares of Eloy. We'll keep scrolling down because I know there's some more value here. Luis Robert, of course, is another guy that we can include into our White Sox stacks. We'll keep scrolling. Yeah, so this is the range that I find rather interesting because
Mhm.
I was actually surprised that we've had to scroll this long to find some of these names, but Benintendi and Brantley are the two names that really stick out to me. Benintendi is leading off for Boston, and again with such power hitters and JD and Devers following right up after him, if he gets on base, it's virtually a lock for him to score a run.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
he's going to be a consistent source of points, and he's definitely somebody that I'm targeting in that range. Same thing with Michael Brantley. I mean, he's a guy that's extremely versatile in the sense that they could play him up and down the lineup. They could have him leading off. They could have him batting seventh. No matter what, he always produces in that Houston lineup, and he's definitely a guy that I'll be overweight on compared to the field. We'll take a look at some punt plays, see if we can find a hidden gem here for everybody that's watching.
Mm.
Nothing yet. Um, One guy that I'm probably going to be underweight on might be a little weary of that. I'm not sure if I'm going to change it, but Jackie Bradley Jr. after what he did yesterday is probably going to be extremely popular.
Mhm.
I'd much rather go to Benintendi for only $200 more.
I'd
Alex
even say, yeah,
Verdugo,
Alex Verdugo at $100 less. I'd probably
yeah,
rather him, right?
exactly. So he'll always be not necessarily his entire career, but he'll always be known as the guy that was included in that Mookie Betts trade. So he's
Poor
gonna have
guy.
some lofty expectations for him, but hey, these guys are professional athletes. They're gonna want to live up to it, right? So I'll
Exactly.
definitely have some
Exactly.
shares of Alex Verdugo.
And then also down here, Chris Taylor. You can snag him in the shortstop or outfield position if you are making those Dodgers stacks. Obviously, make sure that
Yep.
he is starting because you never know with the Dodgers. Even with the DH, it still gets kind of weird. Anybody else down here? Josh Reddick, maybe if we're making a Houston stack, you need to shove somebody in. I think I did that last night. It wasn't terrible.
Yeah, for sure. Like all these teams that we've discussed today, whether it's Boston, Houston, LA, they
Kike
all
Hernandez.
yeah, like they all have extremely deep lineups in the sense that, it'd be nice to kind of have 1 through 4 stacks for every single team, but that's not the way it works in MLB DFS. I mean, that's virtually impossible unless you're stacking the Orioles. Because I mean, I had one yesterday just in the large field GBP, and hey, it didn't really work out, but it was definitely worth a shot in that milli maker. So that in a stack like that, you can get a 1 through 4 with both teams that you're stacking, but it's extremely rare. So don't be afraid, especially with these lineups. Houston, Dodgers. We spoke about Boston a ton. Don't be afraid to kind of get deeper into that lineup, target some 7, 8, 9 hitters. And one of my favorites in terms of that is the wraparound stock. So that's when you go 8, 9, 1, 2, 9, 1, 2, 3, something like that, to be able to make your lineups a little bit different and also a lot more affordable.
I love it. I love it. Good stuff. Thank you so much to Ghost. Ghost, where can everyone find you on the internet?
At DFS_Ghost over on Twitter, at Win Daily Sports, of course, in the Discord channel, hopping between a bunch of channels, and make sure you guys come and join us.
And we will be doing a running tally of what Jacob deGrom's done this year. So that way Ghost can slap me at the end of the year. Jacob went 5 innings, 8 Ks, 1 hit, and it was a bullshit hit, by the way. It barely got out of the infield by Acuna. So sorry one more time, and we're going to be doing this all season, the whole season. Chris Cox is saying hello to you as well. It seems like a
What's
good
up,
friend
Cox?
of yours. So appreciate it. You can find me at Michael Raziel 1. Again, 23 cents for everything over at Win Daily Sports. The articles, the projections, the expert chat where you can hang out with Ghost. And as we said, tinker with those lineups a little bit, talk to Rocker, Jason, Nick, Brian, Matt, literally everyone on our team. We love them all. We appreciate the hell of all of them. And we appreciate you, Ghost, man. So thank you, everybody. And I hope you make it a very, very profitable night.